No questions? Okay. So, so moving forward here, again, let's say the insured's like, hey, it's a great premium, let's continue on. Once you bridge over, or if you did a direct quote here in the system and you want to move forward, then you're going to hit the word apply. By hitting apply, that's going to take you to the underwriting slash applying for the policy basically, and you're going to just fill in any missing information. So whether it's a VIN number, or driver's license number, the damage for the vehicle, things like that, you're going to just update or add all of that information. So again, you do have to go through each tab, and you can just click next or the driver tab. If you entered everything, like if you were doing the direct quote, I mean, you essentially could just keep hitting next until you got to like the policy underwriting questions and answered those. So that's why I say it's really up to you how much you want to, enter in at first. So click on the driver tab. If you need to modify anything or add the license number, you can just click the pencil, enter in the information, and then just go ahead and hit save. Losses and violations tab. Any losses or violations that you add to the driver tab originally will populate here, and then once the reports run, those violations and accidents will populate here as well. Under the vehicle tab, if you need to do the damage, or maybe enter in the full VIN and whatnot, you can just click on the pencil, enter that information, select the damage, and then just go ahead and hit save vehicle and move on, and do that for every vehicle as well. Coverages tab, if you need to make any coverages, you can do so here. Discounts and prior carrier tab. So this tab here is going to look just a little different from when you originally did the quick quote in it. As you can see, we've got the homeowner discount now checked off. If you entered in proof of prior down below here, and maybe they had insurance, with Geico or whatever, and you had their information listed here. If you decide not to use the current carrier information, then you'll have to send in the proof of prior. You can either fax or email it into underwriting, or you can attach it to the policy, which I'll show you that later in the training how to attach. If you decide to use the current carrier because maybe the insured wasn't sure of the dates, or didn't have the information with them, if you check the box for the current carrier, even if you did enter in information down below, if you check off this box here, what's going to happen is when you eventually get back to this view quote tab, your premium is going to increase, and it's going to remove that proof of prior discount until you run the reports and that current carrier, slash proof of prior information gets validated. So once it's validated, this information will populate here where it's got the darker gray, and then your premium will decrease, with giving the discount. So, so just keep in mind, if you use the current carrier, that you will see that increase in premium until those reports are ran. The nice thing is, though, as we currently do it today in Mendota Max, if you do use the current carrier, you don't have to send any information in, because we'll have all of that information on the back end. So, so I just like to go over that a little bit. Policy underwriting, you'll have all of your policy underwriting questions here that you'll need to answer. I do know that this is a non-owner, so, in the meantime, just continue answering the questions for the non-owners. I know that they're making some adjustments to those, so that will get done in time there. And then you're going to go ahead and click on View Quote. So once you've entered all that information in, you'll come back to your quote here with the same premium. Your reports have not run at this point yet. I will show you that here in just a minute. But you have all of your information that you've entered in here. So now at this point, before you run reports, you do need to select a payment plan here. But for right now, what I would recommend is just choosing a non-EFT payment plan so you can run your reports, because what's going to happen is if you choose this 20% down 6-pay credit card, let's say, what's going to happen is the credit card information box is going to pop up down below that, down here, and it's going to recommend or require you actually to enter in the insured's credit card information for their future payments, not for their down payment, just for their future payments, and that's going to require you to enter that information in prior to you running reports. Well, Obviously, the insured doesn't want to give their banking information until they know their total premium. So select a non-EFT payment plan, and you'll be able to run reports and get your final premium, and then you can go back and change the payment plan if you wish. We are working on this here. We actually had it as a separate tab for the payment plan to choose from, but it was the same process. You had to choose, a non-EFT payment plan, to run reports. So we're about halfway through with these changes. So hopefully that will be done, in the next, few weeks to a month or so. The ultimate goal is to choose the payment plan here, even if you choose an EFT payment plan, and then ask for the payment information at a later time. So, so you're going to go ahead and choose, non-EFT payment plan, and then you're going to hit submit. And when you hit submit, it's going to tell you that no changes to the quote can be allowed. It will come back to this screen, so you can make any changes if you need to. Maybe you had multiple drivers and someone has a really bad record and you just, the insured's going to maybe exclude them. So you can definitely do that. It will come back to the screen. You just can't make any changes while the reports are running. So when you hit submit the first time, that's going to run your reports. And then you can go over everything before you hit submit again to actually issue, to continue on issuing the policy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And the reports are going to run here. And because I entered in a fake driver's license number, it's going to come back that the license is unverifiable and that I got a no hit for the driver's license. So as you can see, our premium went from $337 to $484. So we're getting an unverifiable surcharge. Now, for the time being right now as well, you might see this message here in production. Just please disregard it. The reports are running in production. That message is only supposed to fire when the actual reports are down. So, but it's popping up in the wrong spot. So just disregard that for the time being. Our IT department is working on that and trying to get that removed. But the reports are running in production as well. So if we go to the losses and violations tab, you're going to see here the MVR record not found. Maybe the insured had an accident, something like that. So, you can look here on this tab and say, hey, you had an accident in the state, or your license is unverifiable, or, you had a speeding or something. So you can come back to here. You will be able to delete any violations that you enter. So maybe if there's a duplicate speeding violation or a different violation that you entered and then the MVR found, you'll be able to delete your violation. You just won't be able to delete any violations coming from the reports. So if you go back to the view quote tab, if you, and like in this case here, because it's an unverifiable record, if you had made any changes to the driver's license, when you hit view quote, it would try to run that report again. So as it says here, unverifiable record for Jenny Smith, and that's because I didn't, make any changes. But if I did, it would try to rerun and check the license again. So any questions before we move any further with the policy here? No? Okay. So so moving forward here, let's say the insured's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that accident, so the increased premium is fine. Let's continue on with the policy. At this point here, if you did want to choose the EFT option, you can definitely do so, enter in their banking information, and then move forward. So if they don't want to do EFT, then you can just leave it on the payment plan that you have. So the next phase of this is, so just remember, when you hit submit once, that runs the reports. When you go to hit submit again, it's going to tell you again, no changes to the quote will be allowed after it's submitted. That's because this time around, when you hit submit the second time, it's going to take you to the signing experience for the application. And all the information that you've entered in all these tabs is going to put on that, be, pulled onto the application. So unfortunately, when you hit submit that second time and you get to that point, you're not going to be able to go back. So you just really want to make sure that you've gone over everything with the insured, everything's updated, things of that nature. Now, I will tell you that because the system's real time, let's say you hit submit that second time and you get to the application and you realize that you forgot to add a lien holder or something like that. You can go in and do an endorsement right away to add that lien holder. So that's not going to be a problem. So in this case here, go ahead and hit OK, and that's going to take you to the Sign Documents page for the application. So as I stated in the beginning, we have the 3 options to sign: the in-office e-sign, remote e-sign, and sign on paper. First thing first is that for the agent email here, this email is going to be defaulted to the agency email that we have on profile. So if it's maybe a office manager's email or the owner's email, that information is going to be automatically listed there. So you want to make sure that for the agent that's working this policy, that you change the email to your personal, or not your personal email, but your work email. You want to make sure you change that. So if you choose in-office e-sign, basically what happens is a box will appear, the insured sitting at your desk. They'll go ahead and adopt their signature and then click through the process and then finish. And then it's going to be the agent's turn. For the in-office e-sign and the remote e-sign, when you as the agent go to sign the application, the adopt and sign box is going to populate. You want to make sure that you actually type in your name as, the person that's doing the application as the producer, because it will default to your agency name. So if your agency name is ABC Insurance Company, it's going to show on there ABC Insurance Company. So you want to make sure that you type in your name. Let's say your name's Lisa Jones. You're going to type Lisa Jones. If you have to type any other information like your license number or anything in there for your, your producer license number, go ahead and type that in. So you're going to go ahead and type that information in. Or whatever is needed, and then you're going to put your initials, and then you can go ahead and adopt that signature and then go ahead and sign it. So I just like to mention that because I've gotten a couple calls where the agent didn't realize it and they're like, oh, I just signed it as let's just say ABC Insurance Company, and so just make sure that you type in your actual agent name when you're doing the e-sign. The remote e-sign, basically this box will come up here. You'll type in the insured's email, and then the email that you enter down here under agent email, you will both get a link, and then you can both go ahead and sign the application, and you'll be able to move forward to the down payment tab. Also, when the in-office e-sign is complete by both parties as well, you'll be able to move forward to the down payment tab. If you use the remote e-sign and let's say you as the agent signs the application, but the insured does not sign it, you will not be able to move forward to the down payment tab until you can actually, until the application is signed. So that policy is not bound until that payment is made. So you just want to make sure that gets completed right away. If the insured for whatever reason can't, maybe they got locked out of their email now, or they can't remember their password or something like that, then no worries, just come back and you'll be able to cancel the remote e-sign, and then you can go ahead and just click sign on paper, and then just have them, come into the office or, scan it over to them. If you choose the in-office e-sign or the remote e-sign, those applications automatically get attached to the policy, so you don't have to worry about sending that in. If you choose the sign on paper option, you do have to attach it to the policy or fax or email it into customer service so we can attach it to the policy. But if you choose sign on paper and you have your own DocuSign, you can definitely do that and send it through your own DocuSign. That is not a problem, but you will still have to make sure that you attach it or send it in the customer service and underwriting. And that's just with the sign on paper. So in this case, I'm going to just choose sign on paper, and it's going to allow us to proceed to the down payment tab. So then you're going to go ahead and make sure that you process the down payment and select one of your payment methods here. The down payment does have to be paid in full from the same payment method. You can't split the payments, unfortunately, but you can with the future payments, which I'll go over here in just a few minutes. So once you enter in your banking information or agency ACH for the down payment, go ahead and hit submit payment. It'll tell you that your payment was successfully applied, and then you want to make sure that you hit confirmation or finalize to issue the policy. And that's going to go ahead and issue. It's going to give you your policy number and all of your documents. So here's your policy number. You've got your insured's name, and then down below you have all of your documents. These are your true 100% documents for the insured, so you don't have to wait for it to get activated or anything like that. Like I said just a couple minutes ago, if you needed to do an endorsement, you can do so as well. It's all real time. The documents that currently print from Mendota Max when you do a new policy that get mailed to the insured also will get mailed from this system as well. So you really only need to send, give them a copy of the receipt, the application, the deck page, and then the ID card. And once you pull it up as well, you can check off the ones that you want and hit print selected. It'll all come up together in a PDF form, so you can always save it and just email it to the insured as well, if they're not in the office or something. So that's how you issue a policy. And then, like I said, these are all of your documents are available. Does anyone have any questions before we move forward in the training?